Welcome back to Codex Tactics, where we dissect 40k detachments in 10 minutes or less. This is your 10-minute battle brief for Bridgehead Strike, Codex Astra Militarum. So the detachment play-style is infantry heavy, deep striking, uppy downy, and transport disembarking gun line. They have enhancement abilities to deep strike turn 1. They can redeploy up to 3 units. These can go into strat reserves regardless of the number of units in strat reserves. They have an ability to turn off Overwatch for the bearers unit. They have an ability to deep strike 6 inches away with a strat and also with the Aquilons. They can return to strat reserves with a strat. And infantry, specifically Tempestus units, are very good at trading in this detachment. The army rule for guard is voice of command. Officer models with this ability will issue orders. They're going to select one friendly unit within 6 inches and issue that order to. The data sheet will say how many orders they can make. They issue them in the command phase or when they disembark from the transport or they're set up on the battlefield. There are 6 orders as follows. They can add 3 inches to move characteristic. They can improve the weapon skill characteristic of melee weapons by 1. They can improve ballistic skill characteristics of ranged weapons by 1. They can improve the attacks characteristics of rapid fire weapons by 1. They can improve the save characteristic of models by 1, not to be better than 3 up. And finally, they can improve the leadership and OC of models in the unit by 1. The detachment rule. Each time an Astra Militarum infantry model from your army makes a ranged attack, reroll a hit roll of 1. Each time a Militarum Tempestus model from your army makes a ranged attack in a turn in which it was set up on the battlefield from reserves, or it disembarked from a transport, add 1 to the wound roll. If a Militarum Tempestus officer is the Warlord, Scions gain battle line and +1 OC when not battle shocked. So the enhancements, they have 3 for Tempestus officers. 1, they can issue up to 3 different regiment unit orders. 1, they can set up in the deep strike ability in the reinforcement step of the first, second, or third movement phase. And then they have 1 for you cannot fire Overwatch against the bearer's unit. And then finally, an infantry officer can select up to 3 regiment units and redeploy them. These can be set up in strat reserves regardless of how many are in strat reserves. Strats and abilities. 1 unit with a deep strike ability. It can be set up more than 6 inches away, cannot charge. 1 CP, 1 Kasrkin or Tempestus unit selected to shoot. Improve the AP and strength of hotshot weapons by 1. 1 CP, 1 Astra Militarum unit, non-Titanic, can advance and shoot. 1 CP, 1 enemy unit hit by an Astra Militarum infantry unit. After it is shot, that enemy cannot have cover. 1 CP, 1 Astra Militarum unit with a deep strike ability or 1 Valkyrie. You can remove it from the battlefield at the end of the opponent's fight phase. You can place it in strategic reserves. And finally, 1 CP, 1 regiment unit within an engagement range of an enemy unit. Roll 1d6 for each enemy unit within an engagement range. On a 2-up, it suffers d6 mortal wounds. Then your unit will suffer 3d3 mortal wounds. Key leader units. The Militarum Tempestus Command Squad. This is a 5-model unit. This is a T3 1-wound Scion unit with a 4-up save. The Prime will have 4 wounds and a 4-up save. This leads Tempestus Scions. The unit can be affected by up to 2 orders with a command rod. Can regen D3 models with a medipack. Issues 1 order to regiment units and grants sustain 1 on ranged weapons for the unit. It can have up to 4 meltas, flamers, grenade launchers. This is standard cracker frag, plasma guns, or hotshot volley guns. These are 30-inch, 2 attack, strength 4, AP 1, 1 damage, rapid fire 2. Cadian Castellan, this will be typically with Kasrkin, grants sustain 1 to range weapons for the unit, and the bear's unit can fall back and shoot. It issues 2 orders to the regiment units. Ursula Creed, typically with Kasrkin, unit she's leading can be affected by up to 2 orders at the same time. She can issue 3 orders to regiment units, and she can reduce CP cost of the unit within 12 inches by 1. A Commissar, typically with Scions or Kasrkin, can issue duty and honor and fixed bayonets orders, and it can issue 1 order to regiment units once per battle round. This model can destroy 1 Astra Militarum infantry model within 12 inches, and that unit is no longer battle shocked. Tempestus Scions. This is the detachment workhorse. can have various loadouts to perform specific roles. They move 6 T3, 4 up save, 1 wound. This would be a 5 to 10 medal squad, up to 15 models if the command squad is included. They can become additional -1 AP on hotshot weapons with a strat, can gain ignores cover with a strat. They'll be +1 to wound when arriving from reserves or disembarking from a transport. With a full 10-man unit in command squad, they can have up to 8 hotshot volley guns. This would be up to 40 attacks at strength 5, AP2, 1 damage, where they can have up to 8 flamers, melta guns, grenade launchers, or plasma guns. They'll have up to 5 hotshot las guns. This is up to 15 strength 4, AP2, 1 damage. The Tempestus will likely have a pistol and a power fist. All this can be +1 to wound. They'll likely be hitting on a 2-up with an order, possibly rerolling all hits and wounds if you're standing on an objective or disembarking from a Taurox Prime. And with the command squad, they'll also have sustain 1. The Tempestus Aquilons are the 6-inch deep striking anti-infantry or chaff unit. They move 6 T3, 4 up save, 1 wound. They can only deep strike 6.1 away in the controlling player's movement phase now. They can't charge after, and they can also shoot with a sentry weapon upon arrival from deep strike in whatever phase this happens. This will likely be with a grenade launcher or a hotshot volley gun, which can be up to 9 attacks, strength 5, AP2, 1 damage, or a flamer, D6 plus 3 attack, strength 4, 0 AP, 1 damage. They can have up to 1 melta gun in the unit, 1 hotshot long las, which will be 1 attack, up to strength 5, AP3, 3 damage with precision and heavy. They can have up to 8 hotshot las carbines. This will be a max of 16 attacks at strength 4, AP2, 1 damage. Again, they also have access to ignores cover strat, be possibly hitting on a 2-up with an order. They'll be rerolling 1s to hit, as well as generally having +1 to wound. Kasrkin, they scout 6 inches. They can be slapped with up to 2 orders, or up to 3 if led by Creed. One chosen order doesn't need to be issued to this unit or by an officer. They move 6 T3, 4 up save, 1 wound. They can become additional -1 AP on hotshot weapons with a strat, and they can gain ignores cover with a strat. They'll have up to 4 hotshot volley guns. This is up to 20 attacks at strength 5, AP2, 1 damage, or they can have up to 4 melta guns, 4 flamers, 4 grenade launchers, or 4 plasma guns. They'll have up to 6 hotshot las guns. This would be up to 18 attacks at strength 4, AP2, 1 damage, and the sergeant will likely have a power weapon. Once per battle, at the start of any phase, they can use the Melta Mine, which will give D3 mortals to any enemy unit within 3 inches, or 2D3 if that's a vehicle. They'll all likely be hitting on a 2-up with an order, possibly +1 to wound, or re-rolling all hits if disembarking from a Taurox Prime, and the command squad will give them sustained 1 as well. Another unit to look out for are infiltrating units and scouting units. These are Krieg combat engineers, Catachans, including heavy weapon squads. They give dedicated transports to scout ability, and this will help with giving them space for the deep striking units. Another interesting unit in this detachment is the Aegis defense line. It's T12, 2-up save, 10 wounds, fortification. It's kind of a tech choice. It can give cover to the infantry as well as a 4-up invuln. This can be powerful in an army made up mostly of infantry. So transports are kind of key to how this detachment operates. Taurox Prime moves 12 T8, 3-up save, 10 wounds. It transports 12 infantry. Basically, after this model has shot at an enemy unit, the disembarking unit can reroll a hit roll against that enemy unit in that phase. The Taurox is basically the same platform. Transports 12 infantry. Units can disembark after this unit has advanced. They cannot charge afterwards. The Chimera moves 10 T9, 3-up save, 11 wounds. It transports 12 infantry. Officers can give orders while embarked. It has firing deck as well. The Valkyrie is a flyer with hover. Units can disembark in the opponent's movement phase. And then there's a couple Titanic transports. They're basically the Baneblade variants. Just bear in mind that these are T13 2-up save 24 wound platforms with a little bit of shenanigans, and they can transport a lot of infantry. The win path against this army in deployment, don't stand out on objectives for Tempestus Scion to possibly gain full rerolls to hit if they're disembarking from Taurox Prime, and full rerolls to wound as well as +1 to wound against you. Just don't do it. Deep strike denial and screens, you need to zone out 6 inches. Blast weapons, indirect fire, anti-infantry range weapons, torrent weapons for Overwatch, these can all be helpful. Aquilons can now only deep strike 6.1 away in the controlling player's own movement phase. Lone offs behind screens for objective grabbing can be helpful. Execution-wise, abilities to increase strat costs can help really mitigate a lot of the extra AP and ignores cover and things like that. Destroy transports to help mitigate their damage dealing ability and focus on the Tempestus Scions. Save your CP for Overwatch if you have good access to it. The Tempestus Command Squad can have the only enhancement ability to drop in turn 1. If they go first, this will be the only unit to worry about turn 1. And finally, be patient. Think about your screening with every movement that you make. Use charges, pile-ins, mechanics, and combat to tie things up as well, and this will give you some extra movement as well to help keep your screens intact. Remember this, you should do well. Good luck.